Alrighty, refreshed, hoping that there's no static sound now. Let me know, guys. So somehow there was, and I didn't hear the static sound, which is quite weird, but it should be okay. Audio good. Pilot bug, thanks. Weird. Well, the only thing that I changed was actually to put on my power block unit here at my cockpit. I forgot to turn that one on, so perhaps there was not enough power to somehow make my mic work. I'm not quite sure. Hoping that everything sounds good. If not, let me know, guys, and then I need to figure things out. So, for today, Wednesday, every Wednesday now of the week, I'm going to continue with my IFR training. So I broke up my schedule to make time, an additional time, next to the Mondays where I'm going to do the VFR challenge, to work on my IFR training as well. Pick up the threads, keep up the pace, and let's finish this. At 17:30 each Wednesday, I will be here as well. And today we're going to continue with our approaches. So I was just about to complete my practice approach section of my training schedule, which included ILS approaches, NDB approaches, VOR approaches, back course approaches that we all did already, which was really, really fun. But now I also just like to do an RNAV GPS approach, which I haven't done before, which is not practically quite a different kind of approach than the other approaches. Actually, it's quite easy, I think. I'm going to do a non-precision one into San Luis Airport, which is going to be very, very interesting. Here we are at Santa Maria, very, very nearby. Again, I started a bit late, and especially with this problems with the computer, we can now pick up the thread much more quickly. We can go up from Santa Maria here, Delta class airport, and go to Fabeg, which is actually the initial approach fix of the RNF approach into San Luis, which is just a few miles to the north. And let me see, this is the RNAV approach that I was looking at. Now, one discovery that I made, which is totally to do with me, I thought because RNAV sounds GPS-like generally and modern and stuff, that these were automatically precision approaches. So when I looked at the profile view here at the bottom, I was a little bit surprised to see that there was only a Lnaf MDA. I thought there would be a DA, a decision altitude, and I thought, that's weird. But apparently I was totally wrong, and RNAVs can have LPV as well. You need to have WAAS equipped, so WAAS GPS, so which is a little bit more of a fancy GNS that can make that precision approach happen, and then you can go really, really low for your approach. Now we have a GPS 430 with WAAS. So we could do that, but here this approach that we're going to fly into San Luis, we have the Lnf approach, which is a non-precision approach. We only have lateral guidance. So as you can see with the profile view, we have a step-down approach where from each waypoint towards San Luis Airport, we need to descend on our own accord here and get down. Now, what's interesting is Ryan Koch on the on PilotEdge on Discord told me that I could still expect some vertical guidance, through my GNS, even though there is no vertical, even though there's no decision height or anything of that kind here mentioned on the approach plate. My WAAS could still give me some kind of guidance, and that's called Lnaf plus V or something like that, which is actually an indication that we might see on the GNS as well today, showing some kind of glide slope guidance, but we are not really legally allowed to follow, I believe. I'm not quite sure. So there's some kind of a curiosity here where we can look. No, all RNAVs are non-precision. Roger, finish. ILS is still the only one precision. Okay, but still, there are RNAVs that provide vertical guidance as well, in addition to LNAV. So I guess that precision or non-precision doesn't mean that that's the same, synonymous to lateral only, or also lateral and vertical. So that's interesting. Dollar, good to see you. Oh wait, lol, it's just a glide slope, then it becomes a precision. Well, yeah, I don't know if that's the only reason. I thought so, but in any case here there are LPV approaches as well. I believe also based off RNAV. You guys make me confused. I think they are, and they provide both lateral and vertical guidance. So in that sense, and even with lower decision height, decision altitude, so I would say that's pretty much precision. But I guess that's not the case, and still the ILS systems, ILS approaches are the precision ones. Guidance, ILS landing system, yep, there are many kinds of approaches there. Anyways, we're going to use the RNAV GPS approach here into San Luis, a step-down approach, and I'd like to do the full approach from FABEC, because that's very nearby Santa Maria Airport. We're going to fly at 3,300. There's no PT there. That means that we don't have to use, we should not use this hold in Leo. So in order to, for example, if we would be flying from this direction, not necessarily on this little chunk from FABEC, then obviously this angle is a little bit, we need to make a very steep turn to get ourselves aligned here with the runway. And so then this holding kind of procedure can help us. So we would then join in and turn around, and then we use the hold entry procedure to get ourselves in line with the runway. But in our case, or in other our case here when we fly from FABEC, this no procedure turn indication tells us that we should not use the hold here, and we can just go in. Now also ATC can instruct us or assign us a straight in to the RNAV 29 approach, and in that case, even though we were coming from another angle where we should, based on the plate, use a procedure turn, and I think this is not a right one, but for example this one, the original one, and ATC could clear us for a straight in, then in that case it's made explicit that we don't need to fly the hold in Lyon. Very clear picture here. But not a big thing. So in our case, we can just fly in and pick up the glide slope, or the glide slope. I would say the localizer kind of RNAV GPSC localizer. So at 3,300 at a minimum, you can also fly higher if we like to. We go down, and from KDAP we go down, or better actually. This is more glide slopey, like this. Am I doing this right? Yeah, kind of. We're not going to drop down like a brick, but a step down approach, right? So I think this is also nice because it's a non-precision approach, or in this case our own step down approach down to San Luis. I also need to again multitask and look at the approach plate, and or instead of just following my my CDI, my nav1 here, and just get down in a more gradual fashion into San Luis. So it's a bit more difficult, and hopefully also a bit refreshing, perhaps also risky, because I haven't been flying any ILS-like things for a couple of weeks now, because I was doing all kinds of other stuff now. So we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. Finish it. I have a suggestion. Please let me know. Also, RS2E50 even followed me during this whole PC weird static sound grip. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. Thanks. Welcome. So enough chat. So we are currently at San Luis. No, Santa Maria, I should say. San Luis is our destination airport. Here we are. I loaded up the real weather, but removed the overcast stuff here. So just give me a little bit of an advantage here. So we fly with our own weather into San Luis, but as you can see, the visibility is not that great. So that might be a nice step up, I guess, to get back into the IMC conditions. We are going to fly in real world weather, and hopefully also in IMC at the start with our next stream next Wednesday, when I'm going to fly my actual first complete IFR flight and getting my first clearance, IFR clearance. I cannot wait to do that, all in preparation of those I ratings. Now again, you could use the I ratings for preparation on their own. They are perfect, they're nicely scaffolded, they incrementally increase the complexity and the knowledge required to do your IFR flight, so you could perfectly use the I ratings as your curriculum, but I'm kind of frame them like my check ride, so I like to just prepare and then do them, and hopefully I do them quite well, but we have to see. It's going to be exciting, guys. Make one approach straight in, then around and circle for another approach. Yeah, we should do that as well, but I also plan that to do that in one of the next streams. But that's a good one. Finish? Yeah, we should. We should. Dolari, do you ever plan to get your instrument rating one way? Well, I hope so. But it's expensive. I live in the Netherlands here, and just getting your PPL costs you about 20,000 euros. 20,000 in comparison to, well, 10,000 or 8,000 in the US. Also, all kinds of other maintenance stuff. It's very, very expensive. And I'm really digging flight simming, to be honest. And it's also in the name, right? Uncertified pilot. So perhaps one day, if somehow magically I have the money to even get my PPL and then do my instrument rating as well, who knows? So here we are on the east ramp. I expect runway 30. Don't know what the local winds here are actually doing. Do we see a windsock? Or it doesn't even load when we're zoomed out this much, but there it is. Yeah, so that favors runway 30, where wind is coming from this direction. There's runway 30, so that's good, I think. Yeah, pilot bug, exactly. Shift 9. So here we are. Well, and again, guys, let me know if the audio is doing weird things. I really like to know. I think it had to do with my power block there that wasn't switched on. I mean, all of these devices, which I really like. So my cockpit outputs like 2 USBs, powered USB cords. At least it used to do that, but I had some unexplainable power issues with USB doing weird stuff. I thought, how can it be? I have powered USB hubs that I'm using. This should just work. But now I rearranged everything because of my cockpit upgrades. So I'm now using all of my USB ports in my computer here and just a few for my USB hub. And it seemed to work just fine. But in those cases, I still need to have obviously my power block switched on to make those USB hubs powered. And that's what I forgot to do when I started up my computer. And I guess that made the static noise here, because my headset also goes into a USB device through that USB hub. So I'm hoping that's it. I don't like any unreliable stuff going on there. Finish you be well prepared. I hope so. Just need to make sure the LPV isn't considered precision because it doesn't meet the precision. Yeah, Delari, so that's my misconception. Yeah. So I thought, well, the LPV approach, which is also part of the more modern kind of approach, it's also an RNAV approach, right? Does provide lateral and vertical. So I thought, oh, so that's a precision approach. But apparently it's not. It doesn't meet the ACAO standards. That's the reasoning behind it. Yeah. So lateral plus vertical is not synonymous to precision in that sense, strictly. Galen, yo, snooze on. Yeah, that's me. But that's another world. Isn't USB hub a block full of USB ports that has one of exactly pilot, and you also have a powered USB hub there. But apparently, yeah, well, power issues and stuff, and I hope these were resolved. Yeah. So 172. RNAV approach, which is nice. Let me see. No, not imagery. Charts, where we were already at. SMX. Yeah, here we are. So we are currently at the east ramp. We are here. Yeah, and I'm expecting runway 30. So that's going to be... Cannot quite read it. Victor Alpha 8 or Alpha 7. Or Victor onto Alpha and then Alpha 8, something like that. And then we're off. Looking at our flight today, it's very, very short, but hey, limited in time just today. Next Wednesday, I will start at 17:30 Zulu time. We have much more time. I'm going to do my first complete IFR flight. I like to depart from Palm Springs because that's my favorite airport, and that's when I first made contact with ATC, with Marcus on PilotEdge, which was really, really cool. And well, it's just a wonderful area to fly. So that's where I would like to depart next time. But then I need to have a destination airport. What do you guys suggest? Where can we fly to for a 172, which is nice and might incorporate some interesting stuff that we can learn to do some en route IFR scenarios? Or if you've got any suggestions, let me know. I thought John Wayne, but I don't know why I came up with that. Get you down pretty much. Yeah, Delaria, exactly. That's exactly how the misconception happened for me as well. Why did you change from YouTube? Galen says. Why did you change from YouTube? I'm not quite sure. Fuse your call and bacon and I plugged in my computer, gave all sorts of virus. Yeah, USB hubs. I'm not really that pleased with them either. But anyways. This is our flight, 3300, because that's for the fayback point here when we join that full approach. So we're going to take off from Santa Maria. Once we're out of the delta and we need to stay clear of the restricted area, we're going to contact, yeah, I guess so-called approach, but perhaps it might also be center. Okay, SMX, who do we need to contact? Santa Barbara, yeah, that kind of makes sense. We are departing. Yeah, LA Center departure. 124.15. Hey, subscription by Chemo. Thank you, buddy. 11 months. My gosh. Thanks, Chemo. That's very, very supportive. And I know you've been a trusty follower for a very long time and a subscriber, but thanks. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Hope you will visit Flight Simulator Weekend, Eva's Weekend this year, so we can meet you. And Crash Tender and Digital Aviator and all of our Dutch pilots, Edge pilots. Super! Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Anyways, 124.15, and we said LA, right? LA Center. Okay. Yeah, so we just get out of the Delta, contact center, say, hey center, here we are. We'd like to do the full approach, RNAV approach, runway 29, a 29er into San Luis for practice under VFR. Obviously, we can also just do those at IFR, but again, I just like to start with IFR flying as a proper IFR flight. I don't know, but I can just do whatever I want, right? So we're going to depart VFR, even though, as you can see, the real weather here is quite worse. It's even marginal VMC or IMC like, which is actually perfect for an IFR flight. But again, just completing that last step, RNAV approach, practice approach, VFR. That's what we're going to do. So in terms of weather, that's all just fine. Yeah, we just need frequencies here. No clearance, just ground, and we just get off. We fly runway 30. Yeah, we can just go straight out and we climb. Perhaps we already climb out of the delta even before we reach the outer circle of the delta here. So we would already reach 3,300 already at that side. So in that case, we can just continue. We can also ask for a early frequency change. In any case, we can also just go up and just enjoy the scene a bit before we do our approach. Such a short flight. I'm also interested in this restricted area. Los Angeles, what is this? Oh yeah, restricted here. Surface and above. Yeah, so this is just a completely... Yeah, so we should avoid this restricted area at all times. Okay, we cannot overfly it or underfly it or whatever. Okay. Well, we got Oceano there. I don't mind because at that point we're already in the approach. Yeah, basic. All right. Still no emote after 11 months. Yeah, Chemo, that's true. That's true. I have the right to make some, or the option to make some emotes, but how do I make those? And what emote should we use? I think we talked about this a long time ago. Something that had to do with remembering the clock that I never set with my VFR cruise flights. But man, you do deserve a nice emote there. Yeah, I need to think about that. If you have any tips, let me know. Finish. Am I still subscribed? I don't know, buddy. I don't know. No, you don't have a star before your name. Ah, right. Yeah, that's how you can tell whether you're subscribed or not. That purple star there in front of your username in the chat tells you whether you're a subscriber. Apparently, I'm a subscriber too. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah. Done. Yeah, we can just do our starts. Let's get flying, guys. Door is already closed. Parking brakes are not set. They are set right now. Live fast fire exchanger, blah blah. Doors closed. Window is closed. ELT set to auto. Flap lever is up, and our flaps are actually up. Make sure side deck is working. My trim is not set. Bloom. Thank you. Yeah. Fuel tank set. Cutoff is in. Alternate is in. Avionics are off. Beacon lights on. That's off as well. Good. Then my flight controls to the right. That one goes down. That one presumably up. That one goes down. And that one goes presumably up. Feels good. Sounds good. And looks good. Okay. Then batteries on. Got enough fuel. That's good. Turn on our avionics. We are still in mode C already. Let's just turn them off for the sake of checks. Garmin, yeah, so we're going to use the Garmin as well today. We can even fly it on autopilot, but again, as you know, I just like hand flying, actually not use the GPS at all. So it's a bit surprising, I guess, why I actually bought the real SimGear GNS here in my cockpit. But in any case, I also like to become quite familiar with how to use the GPS, not over relying on the GPS, but really make full use of it. And I'm just starting, so I'm just familiarizing myself with the pages, but I guess we can do a lot more. We're not going to sit with this soon because we're going to turn off the avionics again, and we don't need to have an elaborate flight plan. I turned down the screen brightness here because I'm just relying on the 430. So it doesn't distract. I don't know whether I will do that in future flights. Everything's on the GPS. I don't care just yet. Looks good. Again, this is a bug I explained. When the vacuum is low, somehow the heading indicator cannot be set. So only after the engine has turned on we can. So this is we cannot sync it, which I would have done. Heading bug. Yeah, we don't mind either. It's going to be 29 at San Luis, 30 here at Santa Maria. I don't care. 13 degrees looks good. And everything is set. And we're drawing power. Yes. Anything else that we need? No, avionics off. All circuit breakers are still in. Avionics are off indeed. So we can prime our engine. A little bit of fuel. Fuel tanks are both. Fuel pump on, mixture full in, positive fuel flow, 2, 3, and cut off, fuel pump off. Again, parking brakes are set, no one is walking around, and so we can start our engines. Clear prop. Mixture full in. Ignition switch back to both. There we go. Alternator on, we see a rise in the ammeter. Oil pressure already in the green, so that's good. We can lean for ground. There's a dip in RPM, so something like this, and back to 1,000. Avionics on. Now we can go mode C, and 1200 is good for now. And now we can also set the Garmin. Now let's see how we can do that. We need to load in the RNAV 29 approach. How do I do it on mobile? I don't know, Finish, to be honest, how you subscribe on mobile. I don't even remember a sub button on the mobile Twitch. I cannot there should be one. It would be quite weird. I'm not sure. Yes, so self-test again. I need to study how this actually works, how we can now check, and you can see that my CDI is now in some weird position where we can check whether the deflections here of the needles correspond with what the GPS is thinking that our needles are doing, because you can hook up the GPS to this, or is hooked up to this instrument, and so you like to know that those are in sync. Still, I'd like to figure that one out. You can see the satellites, virtual satellites here that the GPS picks up on. And here you can see Santa Maria. Delta Airport looks good. Now, I'm not interested in creating an entire flight plan, but I am interested in loading an approach. Now, let's see if we can do that. It's hard to read. Yeah, that's Palm Springs, but that's what I'm not interested in. K. I'm interested in S. B. A. No, that's Santa Barbara. SBP? SBP. Hey, Stefan, good to see you. Thank you. SBP. Thank you. No, we no, I say enter, I think. Yeah, so now we can choose the approach. Well, we are interested in the RNAV 29 GPS approach. In small letters, there's also the VOR approach, VOR alpha approach, also nice. No, this one, click. Now you can choose the transition that you're going to use from your en route portion of your flight to fly onto the approach. Which, I mean, I really like the analogy. It's quite self-explanatory, actually. Not that much of a leap of imagination. Just using freeways and highways, right? So you're on a route chart. You're on the highway, and then once you're nearing your destination, you get off of it. You transition from the highway to some other smaller road. That's kind of like how you can picture your IFR flight in a way as well. Now, vectors means that A2C is just going to point us right to the final approach fix, or just before the final approach fix, actually, at a certain angle. And that's usually the case, to be honest. No one actually flies, or pretty much no one flies a full approach, I think. So again, the approach. I'm interested just for practice to start from FABEC, so that's what I'm going to request as well. But if not, then the controllers will just say, well, Timmy boy, yeah, you can see Calvi here, that little asterisk thingy. We just give you a angle here. Yeah, that's not a good line, actually. To Calvi, final approach, and a little bit before that, and you can just catch the localizer or the glide slope or whatever, and you just land. So expect vectors for the RNAV 29 approach. Yeah, you circumvent all of these procedures here, which is makes also the life of A2C also much more easy, because they can tuck you in and just keep up the pace rather than allowing you to make all kinds of other turns that are not really that necessary usually. In our case, that's not what we're going to do, because I like to practice to fly the full approach. Exactly, Dolari. Exactly. So let's go down. FABEC, right? Enter. And there you go. Now, I can see that it looks like... Can I also zoom in now? Yeah, I can. Interesting. Yeah, and I say activate. Now, do I need to activate it already? I just like to load it in. Also interesting. Yeah, can I use my mouse here? I think I can use my mouse and my third monitor. Yeah, you can... Oh, no, I disabled that in OBS. You can see above this message icon there, you can see Lnf plus V, right? And Ryan again pointed me to this, which was interesting. So even though the approach here is a non-precision, all RNAV approaches we learned from Finnish, all RNAV approaches are non-precision, strictly non-precision. But as you can see here, we only are provided also non-precision minimum decision altitude, right? Only LNAV, only lateral navigation, which surprised me a bit. But because we have a GPS WAS device, I don't know if it's because we have WAS, but it's this approach can still give us some kind of guidance, vertical guidance, and that's the LNAV plus V. That's different from LNAV plus VNAV. Plus V is some kind of semi-vertical guidance. I also don't know what that practically means, that when we are flying there and we tune in our VOR or a NAV1, that we will also see a glide slope indication. And perhaps, and also on top of that, whether we are legal to then fly the glide slope on our NAV1, or whether it's just a reference and we should just do the ordinary, classical, typical step-down approach. Don't know how that works, so if anyone knows, let me know. Anyways, there's no other option than to activate, and I believe there are also options where you can load an approach or load a procedure and you don't activate it. If you activate it, the first waypoint or first leg already becomes active, and if you have your autopilot on nav mode, it starts directly to fly towards that or to intercept that waypoint or track. So I rather activate it in the air. That's what I'm thinking right now. But because there's no other option, let's just activate it. And here we go. Approach RNAV 29. Sounds good. Now, what's also interesting, these things can actually not work, the GPS. Also, the Reality XP GNS has built-in failures. I turned those off for now. And even more so if you manually put in your waypoints, which is not allowed. I believe Finnish also told me about that a long time ago. You are not allowed to manually put in these waypoints, even though it's pretty much the same thing. You really need to load up the approach, but it's always good to double check whether the waypoints correspond. So we should go through the list. So FABEC, CADDAB, we can also look, no, don't like this mode. If we are really precise and complete, and there must be other steps here, checks as well, but this is one that I remember. So FABEC, that's correct, then CADDAB, right, then HOLDA. Oh, that's not what I want. Clear, CADDAB. HOLDA, that's correct, and CALVI, and then these runway, yeah. But not only that, also the distances, as you can see there, 7.9, which is very, very important as well. I believe also headings, but distances should be exact, but the headings to fly from waypoint to waypoint can be off for a couple of degrees, sometimes even 15 degrees from the actual heading that you're going to fly. As long as those errors are consistent from waypoint to waypoint, you're good. But the distances should be exact, and that's something that you should check before you actually fly the thing, which makes sense, right? There could be trouble in your navigation database, or the GPS might be funky or whatever. It's always good to check. Finish, it depends on the airport. At Helsinki, for example, the star leads straight onto the approaches. Roger, usually no vectors. Okay, so this looks good to me, I think. 7.9, you can see on the approach, it corresponds pretty well. Okay, so now if I just go back, and again, I like to have the long clear press button here on my GPS, which is not implemented here. The data command, RealSimGear told me that data command interferes with something. They're still working on that, which is a bit of a bummer. How do I get back now? Cursor away, then clear? Yeah, there we go. I've got multiple NAV. So this is the page that Keith was using in his plane. So a desire track and cross track. It's actually a more sophisticated CDI in a way. And for more situational awareness, you can switch in between these pages to have an idea of what you're doing. In any case, we're going to use this. Also, all of these fields here that you see at the right side, a waypoint and desired track and cross track error and distance, these are all manually set, so I changed those. These are not the default fields, you can change those. Also for the flight plan page and for the other pages, you can change these fields, which is nice. You can customize your GPS layout here, at least for the Reality XP one. I don't know if it also works for the default GNS and X-Plane, but this is interesting. So as you can see here on the chart, we are now directed to FABEC, right? You can see that's the purple line, the active leg, and wherever we go, our current position, it's going to tell us this is the track to fly. Currently 315, distance 8.39 nautical miles. Okay, that's good. That's all we actually need. Then we need the ADIS. At least we fly a little bit of our own weather, but let's just listen and we can ignore the cloud layers because those are removed. 1 to 1.15, 1 to 1.15. Switch, come to
Santa Maria Public / Captain G. Allen Hancock Field Information Golf. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 11, visibility 5. Sky clear, temperature 13, dew point -7. Altimeter 3000. Arriving runways 3020, departing runways 3020.
That's far off. That's good.
Advise on initial.
I understand. And the ADIS of San Luis is 120.6. Alright, so we can already set that. Okay, what's the ground frequency here? That is 1 to 1.9er. 1 to 1.9er. Love these turning dials here on the GPS. They're so much more precise. It's nice. Yes.
Observing kilo contact Van Nuys Tower 119.3.
Sounds good. Let's turn off comm for now. We need tower 118.3. 118.3. Good. Okay, that's set, and we just request a straight out departure to the north, and we just fly up to 3,300. We might circle around, stay out of the clear of the restricted area that we can also see here on the GPS to the left side there, to the west side, and then take our time and just request a full approach from Fayback as the initial approach fix, and we're just flying. Which is actually a very basic approach, guys, but I'm just rehearsing this mentally also just to learn and refresh stuff. Yeah, that's just my way of doing things. Also, my HI is now working, so we can sync it. Get bug by explain. Which is a bit of a bummer. And winds were coming from 280 at 11, so that's significant winds, but that also means that we need to do crosswind corrections for our taxi. So now we have winds coming in, that's okay. But we're taxiing around here via Alpha, and then that vector thing I expect to 30, and then we got pretty much no wind factor or vector once we take off here to 3,300. That's our brief. And again, we circle around and we catch Fayback and do that full approach. Sounds good to me. Everything is still on, and engine is already warm enough. The oil is already warm enough for us to taxi, because it's already over that 75 degrees, which is nice. Yeah, sounds good. East ramp, and I didn't catch the weather. We have our own weather, so let's say that. East ramp and departure to the, yeah, it's not the north, right? It's northwest or west even. Let's make it west. Com 1 on.
Air Julie Charlie, contact Burbank Tower 118.7.
Santa Maria ground, Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Tango Mike on the east ramp with our own radar for a northwest departure.
Burbank Tower, November 445, Juliet Charlie, 3 nautical miles to the west, inbound full stop.
We have to wait.
Southwest 1902, fly heading 060, join runway 8 localizer.
PHTIM.
Please, correction, a PHTIM, Santa Maria ground, runway 30, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 30 via Alpha, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. Okay, so no mention.
Southwest 1902, Burbank Airport, passenger
No
12 o'clock and
mentioning
7
of the
miles
vector
port
airway.
side.
Double check, as always, good routines.
Southwest 1902, clear bridge approach, runway 8, Burbank, and you got a King Air underneath you there at 2000.
Here we go, just Alpha. And
Then
yeah,
I start
no
King
way
Air 520 Kilo
to tell
on the
whether we
miss
need to
approach.
use Alpha 7 or Alpha 8.
Air 520 Yankee Kilo, roger,
Let's use
contact
the
departure
most outer one.
134.2, see you.
34.2 steering keel.
Okay, and in terms
Southwest
of
1902, that King Air's 1 o'clock
one.
and 1 mile southbound, no factor. Contact Burbank
Okay.
Tower 18.7.
Park and brakes released. Brake test works. Significant winds again. So now winds are coming to the right, so right yoke.
Burbank Tower, November 445, Juliet Charlie, over
No traffic here.
Bob Hope 2000, inbound for full stop.
Right, from the back.
445 Juliet Charlie, Burbank Tower, runway 8,
Forward
cleared
on the
to
yoke.
land, wind 090 at 11.
RNAV
090
approach, guys.
at 11, cleared to land 445, Juliet Charlie.
How's the sound of the ADC? Is it too loud or?
Burbank Tower, Southwest 1902, sorry. Final to
For
runway
me it's
08.
okay, but
Southwest 1902 Burbank Tower, traffic
Alpha.
Cherokee over the numbers, runway 8, clear to land, wind 090 at 11.
no one over
Clear
there.
land, runway 8, Southwest 1902.
Air 520 Yankee Kilo, SoCal
Push
departure,
forward
radar
on the yoke
contacts
again.
and intentions.
Down a bit. Okay,
You want to do that now?
something like this, guys. Let me know if the sounds are
Air
bad. I
520
can
Yankee
just
Kilo, roger,
this is a
expect,
bit
further
too slow.
clearance, shortly.
Something like this.
Bob Hope Tower, November 445, Juliet Charlie, request right downwind for runway
I mean,
8.
I have so many different
Roger,
volume
Australia right traffic, runway 8.
volume
and
setters.
I'll call you turn to base.
that it's hard to
We'll wait for your call
sync
to turn base.
my
445,
audio
Juliet Charlie.
volume from my headsets to what you're hearing on the stream, so that's why. Okay, there we are. Mode C still. We are warm enough. Mixture full in. 1800.
Legion 1618, contact LA Tower
Stable.
1.
Primary
Correction.
engines are stable.
Contact
Pressure is
SoCal
good.
approach
No unshaded
124.9.
messages. Left mag good enough to drop. Back to both. Other mag looks good. Back to both.
Air 5 Juliet Charlie, thanks for the help
Vacuum
there.
is also in the green. Perfect. Let's go
No
down.
problem, 445, Juliet Charlie.
Still no unshaded messages.
SoCal approach, LA altimeter 299.7.
Looks good.
Advise you of weather, expect ILS runway 24.
One thing that I am mentioning,
expect
I'm
ILS runway
relying
25
on my
left approach.
GPS here, which is okay, I guess. So I think that my
Legion 1618,
needle
turn
here
5 degrees
shows
right,
me
17,
how
5,000 back to the final.
much I'm clear from this track. I guess. Not quite sure. In any case, I do like to set my, also as a redundancy, my nav 1 obviously to the oh, but this is an RNAV approach. We don't have a VOR. We don't have an ILS, obviously, right? Yeah, we don't. Okay. Anything else that we need to do? No, I guess not. Well, we can set the OBS here just to mimic 29er. But this doesn't function at all because we set it to GPS. I'm interested to see what's going on here. Feedback down, and then down, 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 down. Okay. Okay. Again, one final check. Looks good.
Okay, 0 Yankee Kilo flighting 310, vector LD8 Charlie approach.
Alright, it's a bit louder. Something like this. Okay. Set a nearby VOR, yeah. Set a nearby VOR. St. Louis has its own
South
VOR.
1902, you going here to the terminal?
Or doesn't it? Oh no,
Roger
we
that,
have,
see you, have a good day. That's it.
we have Morro Bay. 112.4, that's what we can set. How do I go to... Oh, it's the press, right? Let me see. Yeah. So I press the turning knob and then it goes to... Yeah, and then we can set it to 112...
Bob Hope Tower, November 445, Juliet Charlie, extended downwind this time.
Air 5 Juliet Charlie, you
Switch.
just hit the minute marker on the timer. I got it in about another half a mile.
yeah.
Actually, I might be able to... You can turn base now. Go ahead and make your base turn. I'll call you turn to final here.
Then tower 118.3. That's
We'll wait for your
set, and we
call
can
for
set it already
finals.
to
445, Juliet Charlie.
124.15 because that's our LA departure. Or center, what was it? I think it was center. 124.15. There we go.
Yeah, Air 5 Juliet Charlie, we're good now.
Center,
Runway 8 cleared to land. Caution wake turbulence.
Runway 8 clear to land. Wake turbulence. 445, Juliet Charlie.
Okay, 0 Yankee Kilo, turn 10 degrees left.
In. Trim is set.
Legion
everything
1618, flighting
set.
270 to maintain 3000.
Everything is on. Engine looks good. Mode C, 1200. Good. Santa Maria Tower, Skypop Delta Tango Mike is holding short 30 ready for departure northwest bound.
PHTIM, Santa Maria Tower, runway 30, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 30 Pop Delta Mike.
Legion
Good.
1618, 3 miles
Here
from
we go.
Honda,
Double
flighting
check.
230, maintain 3500 till established
is-
localizer, cleared ILS,
no
runway
one
25 left
is-
approach.
No one is on the runway. Let's use the full runway here. Too much runway. Let's turn around. 30 corresponds also with our heading indicator. Good. Mixture in. Lights are on. Let's go, guys. RNAV approach. Full power. Our rudder there. Airspeed's already alive. Engine looks good. Well, we don't have really full RPM there. That bothers me a bit, but it's just enough. Let's watch it there. Going up, going up, going up. looks good. Engine still looks good.
Torrance Tower,
Bothered by the
Sierra
RPM.
670, Charlie Sierra, ready for takeoff.
Sir 670 Charlie Sierra, Torrance Tower, runway 29 right, clear for takeoff, wind 310 at 4.
Clear for 29 right, and did I say this was for Cat 10, 670 Charlie Sierra?
Yes, you did.
RPM still good. Should have rehearsed my rejected takeoff actually.
Los Angeles clearance, Cessna Centurion,
So
November
what will
1,
we do
Alpha
when the
Sierra.
engine quits?
Well,
Below
start
1,000
Cat
feet
11
HL.
down to San
So
Diego.
you have that
75
in your
feet.
mind and you can execute it once away.
1 Alpha Sierra, Roger, stand by. Carrier 0 Yankee Kilo, flight 340.
Alright, straight out. Engine looks good still.
Carrier 0 Yankee Kilo, 3 miles
Not really
from
VY, so we can actually go a
Silex.
bit more aggressively.
Fly heading 070. Maintain 3,400 till established on the final approach course. Cleared LDA, Charlie approach, spec circle, runway 16 left.
Icing, just troubleshooting there. The engine doesn't feel right. Tanks. Don't know. Let's see, might be interesting. So listen to the RPM whether it's actually decreasing or not. 2400.
Allegiant 1618, contact LA Tower, 120.905.
Again on the GPS, northwesterly, fade back is in front of us. 6 miles to go.
Burbank Tower, November 445, Juliet Charlie, cleared of runway 8 at Delta 7, request taxi to
I
FBO.
like this haziness.
R5 Juliet Charlie, taxi parking via Alpha, pass for Kenny.
Then lights off.
Pass for Cat 8, thank you sir. 445, Juliet Charlie.
Who was it I just told us to stand by?
I can see a readout here on the
Possibly Centurion
CDI.
1 Alpha Sierra.
NAV1.
That's the one. Or 1 Alpha Sierra, Los Angeles
So
clearance.
I guess that track
on departure, fly
that
runway
we have
heading, maintain
activated, that
VFR at or
purple
below
leg, is
3,000.
not synced to our
Departure
current
frequency
position, but
125.2, squawk
our last
7030 for Cat 11.
from the airport. So that's
Can you
why we
please
have a
repeat
deflection
the,
here.
the clearance? I don't know that I even got a runway to take off on yet for the
Alright.
runway heading. For
Let's
one
turn
Alpha
away
Sierra.
to the
Allegiant
west.
1618, short final, 25
I'll
left.
fly into that
Allegiant
restricted
1618, Los Angeles
area.
Tower, runway 25 left, clear to land.
Thanks so much.
Stay below 3,000 feet.
Number 1 Alpha Sierra, that's not how it works. If you're told to fly runway heading, it's the controller's responsibility to change that assignment if they give you a runway or it's not runway heading. Fortunately, here at
Still looks
LAX,
good. It
all
looks
the
good.
runways are runway heading, so it's simple. On departure, fly runway heading. Maintain VFR at or below 3,000.
I trust the engine. I was still
Departure
troubleshooting there.
frequency
It was a bit weird during the
is,
takeoff roll that we had around
125.2.
300, 200. I was expecting
Squawk
a bit more, but
7030.
Alright, sorry, I didn't
Yeah, you're
understand the
right.
runway thing.
You're right, Stefan.
Departure frequency 125.2, runway
Yeah, the
heading
sound
at or
is
below
strange,
3,000,
but-
squawk 7030 for 1 Alpha Sierra.
3,000 can also lean a bit. Also increases the RPM. Would be interesting.
Hawthorne Tower, 670 Charlie Sierra,
Clear
request the
of the
northbound
Delta.
main route.
1 Alpha Sierra, be back. King Air 0 Yankee Kilo,
Already see
contact
the
the nice tower
coastline in front of
19.3.
us. And we're going to stay at 3,000
Then I
because we're
start
flying
King
towards the
Air
west, so we should actually
Yankee
pick
Kilo on the
an even numbered
LDC,
cruising altitudes.
LDA,
But as our instrument approach is going to be at
LDA Charlie approach.
3,300,
we have the fuel inside.
3,300.
Air 520 Yankee Kilo,
Climb to
Van Nuys Tower, circle west of the
4,500.
airport for left down runway 16 left, clear to land.
That's a better RPM.
Circling west
Set it
for a
back to
left,
round cruise.
down for 16 left, and then clear to land 16 left, steering wheel.
Alrighty.
Who's that calling Hawthorne?
Looks good, guys.
Hawthorne Tower, 670
Took
Charlie
off.
Sierra, request the
Alright,
northbound main route
checks,
for 2 miles south of you.
lights on stroke.
670
Make sure
Charlie
looks good.
Sierra.
Flaps are up.
Hawthorne Tower, squawk.
Looks good to me.
Actually, stand by. It's not coming up.
Alright. So, no need to stay into the
670 Charlie Sierra, squawk 4462.
tower frequency here. So let's
Squawk
switch
44.
to LA Center. 124.15. Yeah. And we can switch. Also, turn a bit to the right there.
Right downwind
So
for
we're
the
gonna fly
left
to the
runway to
restricted
the west
area.
of the field.
KSBP. San Luis, yeah. Because I think because we're so close to San Luis, we're gonna
Lead to 1618. You can continue rolling down hotel.
contact,
Crosswind too far right. Pop up contact ground.
center
0.75
here.
on the other
And
side.
as soon as we're on the approach and nearing the final approach fix, then center is going to, or approach is going to hand us over to
Center
tower
1 Sierra,
for your clearance to land.
Los Angeles ground runway 25
I
left
wanna
taxi
have
via
that in
Alpha
my
Bravo.
standby
Correction
frequency.
via Alpha Foxtrot.
And that's going to be 124.0. 124.0.
Reserve Charlie Sierra, contact LA Tower 1 enter point 8.
Good. Okay, so
Or 9 Foxtrot Zulu advised
we
me at the
have
airport site.
departed from Santa Maria. Fabic is over there, but you can see the active line is now connected to our departure airport, but I like to fly direct to Fabic in just a second, right? So we're going to go direct.
Or 232 Whiskey Papa.
What happens if I just
Santa
hit
Barbara
direct?
clearance.
Fabic,
Santa Maria Airport.
it knows that it's the
departure.
next
San Marcos
leg,
transition as
so
well.
we can
Climb via 6 and maintain 3000.
enable this.
Departure frequency
Enter, activate, go.
120.55. Squawk
Now we will follow our
5247.
position. You can see a readout, the white message there, right turn to 052 now to catch that track. But in this case, I believe then that this will stay this way. No, it's actually still deflecting, so perhaps it just used our position of a second ago.
I'm sorry, blocked you say that last one?
Because if it does follow our current position, I would say that
Or
this
2
will
Whiskey
always
Papa
stay in the
reback,
middle.
correct, right.
Or does it react to this? No. It's very nice scenery, by the way, here. Look at those beaches. It's hazy. Okay, so this is good. I'm gonna hit the coast and turn around and ask. I'd like to have my scratch pad there. So what are we going to request? We're going to request the RNAV runway 29 approach.
Alright, lead to
San
1618 Los
Louis
Angeles ground.
VFR
Which gate you
full
look for?
approach. A full RNAV runway 29 approach into San Luis starting from Fayebank.
Lead to 1618 route taxi Charlie
Under
10 via
VFR
Papa Charlie.
practice. That's the request. But first we need to listen actually to the ATIS. I'm so rusty, my gosh. 120.6.
San Luis CORGNL information Golf. 2100 Zulu weather.
Golf.
Wind 280 at 11. Visibility 5. Sky clear. Temperature 13.
670 Charlie Sierra, Los Angeles helicopters ident.
Altimeter 3000.
Yeah. Let me see. That was 120.11. That's really significant. Quite a change, by the way. Did I read that again?
San Luis CORGNL information Golf. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at
280,
11.
yeah, that makes sense.
Visibility 5.
670 Charlie Sierra, Los Angeles helicopters cleared through
280,
Bravo
yeah, so
airspace.
already said that.
Correction, your radar contact cleared through Bravo airspace, minimum northbound, maintain VFR 2500.
Okay.
LA altimeter
Set of
2997.
frequencies, we're ready to go. Yeah, Fabic, you can see that the magenta line there was just connected to our position, and that makes sense that then the needle would deflect. So again, let's just turn around. It's slower. Okay. Where are we? How do we reference ourselves? Yeah, near Fabic. No, perhaps we can use the. We also have Oceano. I think the VOR there might make sense. Morro Bay. Is that Morro Bay? No, it's not Morro Bay.
Zero Kilo right taxi
It
parking via,
is
or you can go straight ahead
Guadalupe.
and it's past for the sky region.
So we didn't descend too much. Guadalupe. Yeah, so northwest of Guadalupe. 5 miles or so. And then also our altitude. Yeah, just rehearsing, guys. This is
Around
again, I need to get into
contact
shape
approach
again.
124.35.
And do multiple things at the same time. Let's get back to the altitude first. be at least 3,300.
Or 232 Whiskey Papa Santa Barbara ground runway 15 left taxi via Charlie.
Let's follow the coast here. More power. So we should can be in because we are lower than 3,000 here. Very good. She's still looking okay. Low oil temps. Let's go up a bit. Fabric is just to the right of us, okay. Yes, so let's say 10 miles or so northwest of the Guadalupe V1.
Six 670 Charlie Sierra, radar service terminated. Leave Bravo airspace. Contact Santa Monica Tower 120.1. Our 29er Foxtrot Zulu SoCal approach altimeter 299.8.
Waiting for a gap here.
Our 1 Alpha Sierra LA Tower,
Radio
runway
chatter.
25 left. Cleared to take off.
Oceano, yeah, we could use Oceano. South of, okay.
Our 670 Charlie Sierra, Santa Monica Tower. Roger, what are your intentions? For 0 Charlie Sierra, Roger. Northbound transition approved.
Los Angeles Center, Sky Papa Delta, exit 3,000, about 10 miles south of Oceano with a VF4 request.
Yeah, HTIM, Los Angeles Center, Squawk 5567 ident, say request.
5567, Papa Delta, you might like to practice the RNAV 29 approach into San Luis, the full approach on the VFR starting from Fabec, if that's possible.
PHTIM. Roger. Yeah, contact Santa Barbara approach 120.55.
120.55, okay, apparently it's Santa Barbara. 120.55. This is so much faster, this is fun. Santa Barbara approach, Sky Papa Delta, it's level 3,000.
Pablo Del Tango, Indy Mike, Santa Barbara approach. Understand you want to do a VFR practice approach from Fabec? DHTIM practice approach approved. No separation services provided. San Luis altimeter is 299.9 and you are radar contact. Your radar contact over Oceana Airport.
Position checks for Papa Delta, you might can clear for the VFR approach remaining 29 starting from Fabec.
Or 232 Whiskey Papa, Santa Barbara Tower,
good.
only 15 left.
Now,
take
we
off.
can go to Fabec now. So that means, again, direct, enter, go. I would now have a readout here on my CDI, I guess. I would say, again, track 100. So let's try to fly that then.
Who's that calling for clearance?
We need to go to 3,300. Let's climb a bit. Yeah, so there's my track. I'm a bit off. Interesting. Let's grab the approach here. So again, Fabec, 3,300. Oh, come on, Tim. Come on.
670 Charlie Sierra, Van Nuys Tower, and right
Concentrate.
down. 16 right, report.
Young
for the field.
Jedi. How many miles? 3 miles. Yeah, come on. Let's fly 90 then. Good. Stabilize.
DHL, I believe, was 2440. Are you trying to fly as Astar Air Cargo? The
thought it was
that's their code. Their code is DHL. I know you're thinking. You're probably thinking of DHL, the like UPS, FedEx, DHL.
1 mile
is
to
that,
go.
is that correct?
Gaining in on that CDI. Let's trim here, guys.
Yeah, I don't think they had their own code, their own airline code, or whatever you want to call it, their own 3-letter code. I have no idea how they operated unless that A-star is them. But that call sign for that is DAL. I don't know. I'm not sure
4 and 3,
what it would be. I can look it up here for a second.
Go.
Give me a second.
That's nice readout. 02. Okay. Star rate turn. So that's nice that the GNS gives you
thank you. Contact Gillespie Tower. Squawk VFR for exchange Prussia.
Alright. 024. Good.
Yeah, 4550, John McLaren, clear to San Francisco Airport. Here we're 2 departure, AK transition as followed.
Okay.
Climb via 6, set maintain 5000.
Until we reach
Departure frequency
Cadab,
128.1, squawk 2521.
2900. Go a bit more to the right. So it is like you're flying VORs actually, intercepting VORs, but now these are GPS referenced ones. But the readout, practically flying one,
Yeah,
is actually
4550 reback,
pretty
correct.
much the same as a localizer or whatever. Can double check our sync here. The magnetic composite heading indicator. Still putting a bit in the yoke. How many miles? 6 miles to go. But the real advantage of
29 Foxtrot Zulu, Gillespie Tower, make
obviously
straight
is
runway
that
27 right, clear to land.
everything
Wind,
is set
variable
for you,
6.
right? So once we reach a waypoint, the GNS automatically switches to the next waypoint. So I don't have to fiddle around with frequencies and stuff. I don't have to fiddle around with the OBS because it's automatically set.
0 Charlie Sierra, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Yeah, so this is really, really nice. You can see that our ground track or our cross track. Let me see if I can show you guys here. That X-ray Tango Kilo here. You can see that gives us a much more precise readout than the needle.
Going up Sierra, ready to contact. Contact still got a departure.
How many nautical miles we are away from the track on the side track.
Contact departure.
Miles. All right, and then to
Santa Barbara
Sierra,
departure, November TTT, stop at 3000 on cloud 5.
next. 4.3 nautical miles.
Or 1 Alpha Sierra, so got a
Stefan, am I the only one
100.
hearing weird engine sounds? Hoping you are. Let's put on our landing lights as well. Should full in. 3 miles. This is interesting, guys. It's new, this. I mean, yeah. And I'm still
Santa Barbara
behind the
departure,
game,
November
I feel.
TTT, skip upper at
With the ADAS
3000
and
on
stuff,
flat
I'm
5.
really lagging. So,
Santa
a lot of
Barbara
stuff
departure, ready to contact. Climb via 6, set
really
maintain
get back
6000.
into shape.
Climb via 6, set maintain 6000, TTT, skip up.
3 miles. Cadab is over there. Again, looking at my approach plate once we reach Cadab. 292, 4.3 nautical miles. Got a wind coming almost from the runway, so that's nice. We don't have to crab to the wind. And again, we just wait for that wide message saying left turn now. I mean, you just follow that instruction, but descend to 29er. Yeah, finish exactly. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. My voice is still low volume. Thanks, Dad. Is this a bit better?
4550 downwind ground push on Alpha route.
1.5 nautical miles. I'm now drifting off. See that cross-track error is increasing, but anyways, waiting for that instruction to make my left turn. There it goes, in 10 seconds. 9. Oh, my computer is really lagging here. Please. Thank you. We should have already made our turn. And let's go down. Now, I can use my power setting to go down, but it's actually better just to keep your power setting and go faster, especially with a 172.
US 1620 Los Angeles clearance clear to San Francisco Airport. Summer 1 departure Stoke transition as filed. Climb via SID except maintain 5000.
See, I'm off of
Departure
my
frequency 125.2.
track there.
Squawk 6360.
Cadab, that's the active field. There's now agenda as well. Cross track. Let's go a bit to the right. Catch that needle. Go down a bit. Yes.
UPS 1620, you read back correct? Reserve Charlie Sierra taxi parking via Alpha, it's passed so far.
Yeah, so we're getting blown away by the wind. And that's why we need to grab a bit to the right there. Thanks, Crash. Good to see you. ATC is too loud. Okay. Lowered that. Again, it's hard to fiddle around with this, guys, with the sound, so I'm doing my best. Alright, still keep that at 2.9. Where are we? 2 point Helda. We are ready. We're going to Helda. Yeah, that's good. That's good. 2 nautical miles to go. And we're to the left here. And then from Helda, it's going to be down to Kelvi, 2400. It's better perhaps just to get the profile view here. Yeah, so once we're now at 2.9 and then to Kelvi, 2400. Oh, don't go any lower, Tim. You're already at 2800. Should be 2.9. Also, our altimeter should have been reset, and I didn't, which is very important for an approach, instrument approach. But again, high speed for a 172 is good because of other jets that might be on the approach. So Keith instructed just to almost go full speed there to the yellow line, and only at the last moment pull the power. Still on Helda. Lights are on, everything is on. Man, this is so much fun, guys. I feel the challenge, to be honest. Okay, Helda. Desired track is going to be the same message, and there we go, 2400. Ah, you see the glide slope.
PHTIM contact San Luis Tower 124.0.
Oh, the tower, pop Delta Mike.
2 Whiskey Pop, advise you have weather approach request.
The tower was 124.0.
DME back towards Alpha, please.
To go down.
Do
multiple things.
Approach 134.9.
Yeah, let me first fly the airplane first, then fly the airplane first. Go. 124.0. That's true. That's true.
Back course, Alpha,
okay, it's a little bit right.
Roger, copy.
Down. We should go down faster than 500 feet per minute to catch it. And San Luis Tower Skype Hotel Tango Mike is on the RNAV 29er approach.
R1 Alpha Sierra SoCal approach, leaving Bravo airspace, cancel out 2 restrictions.
But also mentioned my
navigation, LA altimeter,
weather
7.
information there. Okay. Runway 29. Runway 29.
PHTIM San Luis Tower. Runway 29 at land, calm.
Clear land 29.
2 Whiskey Pop across San Marcos 6000.
So I'm flying my needles right now. Because of that change, my standby frequency was not on tower, which I did rehearse. So I thought, oh my gosh, what's the tower? And then I need to look at frequencies while I was flying, and that's not a good thing. So still high speed there, which is nice. So I'm just flying like an ILS. I don't know whether I'm allowed to fly this ILS style like way now. We've got Lnaf. You can see that Lnaf V there in the green.
Cross.
There on top, above the GPS.
That's probably cross 20 left.
Don't do two things at the same time, Tim. I love the chat, but let's fix this.
UPS 2440, we relog. We're the DHL. So just relog as Yeah, so my side partners are doing LA.
Yes, 2440. I don't blame you. Go
Whether I
ahead
should
and,
just
respond on
use
the
these
new
step
call sign.
downs instead, but even though now from the runway towards the runway you don't have any other step down.
Van Nuys clearance 670 Charlie Sierra is a pilot planning for the coastal route.
For 670 Charlie Sierra.
Alright, on the needle, let's focus in, we can do this.
Squawk 5234.
You can do this in high speed, which is nice. It's also new, I've never done that before.
Approach frequency 134.2, squawk 5324.
Right, a bit below it, come on.
Read your call sign with all readbacks. Every
Come
time you
on,
make a
I
readback,
lost it
say
again.
your call sign.
I should not bother with the chats.
Squawk 5324, 670 Charlie Sierra. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We're getting low.
Your readback, correct.
Now I'm going to change my power settings here, which is again going to mess me up.
The traffic's over San Marcos
Come on,
VOR,
don't
westbound
go down
6600
too
type
much.
knots.
And back again, you can do this. Astronaut style, come on. Good. Flap, push down, very important here. Too much. Right. Good, Tim. Good, Tim, very good. Bit to the right. Very good. Still looking at my instruments primarily. Wide band. Use the flap to get up. There we go. Speed a bit in. Speed a bit in. Still looking at my instruments. Trim a bit up.
326 Los Angeles Center, roger.
Too much. And I mean, the needles get very sensitive right now. Bit to the right there. Luckily, we got a nice wind coming into our face here. A nice headwind. Looking good still. Speed is okay-ish. Now I feel stable.
Delivery VS to whatever we refab.
Slowly, don't too much. Good. How high are we? I don't know what the airport elevation is. Okay, let's look. Yeah,
PS 2440, the flight
looking
plan
good.
is blank.
Not bad, but the change from my non-precision kind of approach mindset to the precision one messed me up in that swap frequency. I didn't have the tower set. I thought, what's the tower? And that was an error. Very interesting. Something there is another PilotEdge pilot there. That's nice.
2440, okay.
Love this field.
Roger,
We did
yeah.
the Cat 3 with Mrs. Uncertified. Alright, let's nail this landing. RNAV approach, guys.
Are you in X-Plane or on the website or in one of the planes and clients?
On the website,
Let's get rid of that speed.
Van Nuys ground 670 Charlie Sierra is ready for taxi.
Nose slowly down.
We're just right
That
back
was a
with
good
our
landing.
ramp.
Flaps up. Bit more power there.
670 Charlie Sierra, Van Nuys ground runway 16 right, taxi via Alpha Charlie.
Interesting. I'm going to
16
brief that,
right,
guys.
taxi via Alpha Charlie.
I'm going to debrief that.
670 Charlie Sierra.
Other aircraft calling for taxi, say again.
Is this a taxiway? Yes, it is.
Other aircraft calling for taxi, say
And
again.
this is Foxtrot. Roger. Alright, you can see pretty strong winds. Again, crosswind taxi correction as well. So now left ailerons. We are on Foxtrot. Get our butts behind this threshold line. Look at this airfield. It's so cool. Flight sim is so cool, guys. Oh, I missed this. Yes, 1200 ground. Something like that. Landing lights off. Strobe lights off, and that's about it, isn't it?
John Main Tower, hello United, 4550.
Yeah, sure, blame chat. Yeah, Kimo.
Okay, 4550 John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right.
I think you should not continue if you don't see the runway. Roger, yeah, and I wasn't aware of that either, Kimo. That minimum decision altitude. I mean, I saw it on the plate, but I didn't incorporate it too
Are
much.
you going to the north ramp here?
That's affirmative for Bob Delta Mike. Yeah, please.
PHTM, roger, taxi parking via Alpha, have a good day.
Via Alpha to parking, thanks for the help today, Papa Delta Mike. Good. Yeah, so there are things. There are things. nice airports. So now we are in the non-movement area. We can do whatever. We're going to set our transponder to VFR and off.
John Wayne Ground, Mitsubishi 159 Whiskey Bravo, taxi VFR with Juliet. I'm at the south ramp.
Look at this, such a cute
Mitsubishi
airport.
159 Whiskey Bravo, John Wayne Ground. What are your intentions?
VFR
Papa Hotel,
south,
look at that.
West, down the coast.
Around Whiskey Bravo, we can
Okay.
contact clearance delivery.
1000, that looks good. Avionics off, Mac test off to both. There was a dip in the RPM, cut off. There we go. Switch, off, power, or parking brakes I should say. Fuel tanks, and door we just keep closed. There we are. Oh, I feel my brain. My gosh. RS, awesome. Thank you for mentioning that. Appreciate it. Once again, is minimum descent altitude, another percentage. That's a huge difference. Yeah, I know, but I made some mistakes. We're going to review the flights also by using the recorder, but also just intellectually, right? Because that's the ball game. It's to mentally stay ahead of your flight, right? Which I wasn't at all. Also, on terms of basic VFR flying, I was still fiddling around with ADAS and stuff. I really took my time there, which is good, just to rehearse and talk out loud. But this, at my stage, at my Cat 11 rating, which I already did a long time ago, I should be much faster. So, again, a systematic. I can be much more on point and faster. Hopefully, now with flying 2 times a week, that will improve very quickly. Anyways, so the flight. Yeah, so I took off from Santa Maria. That was all just fine. GPS was wonderful. We fiddled around with that active lag there to FABEC. I thought it would just follow our position of our plane while we hit direct, but it just remembers that time, that position where you were when you hit direct, and that's going to be the active lag. You can catch that with the needle, so that was really nice. I totally understand the advantages of using your flight planning here with the GNS, because it sets the, well, not really frequencies, VOR beacons or stuff. You can just fly the needle, or you can even do it on autopilot, obviously, which is nice. Also a bit more lazy, but I get the hang of that. ATC contact was good as well. One thing that I noticed that I did my cold call first, and I thought he would say, okay, Pop Hotel, Tango, you might go ahead. But he already gave me a transponder very quickly, and I didn't have my scratch pad in front of me. So luckily I was able just to, which also helped with my mini keyboard here, because I could immediately press it in and hit ident right away, which was nice. So I totally see the practical utility of having a transponder, physical transponder here, where you can also use your keyboard, obviously. But I wasn't prepared with that. Also not thinking ahead, hey, I might need a scratch pad here. But that went all okay. Then we went to the FABEC. Thanks, Haley. Thanks. The FABEC waypoint. So we move on to the chart. 3300. So I need to fly and think about the approach again. I did have an idea of that 3,300 feet, no precision, no procedure turn. I knew about that. We had plenty of time during that leg, 7.9 commands, so that was fine. But I thought I already prepared. We were switching to the part before I even talked to LA Center, which eventually turned out to be Santa Barbara. I don't know how that works, but we don't care. It just happened. I already prepared my standby frequency on my comm for the tower. I think I said that on stream, like, hey, because I'm expecting that after we talk to Center or Tracon, we will be on the approach, and then eventually they will sign us over to St. Louis to say, hey, tower, here we are, can we land? But I think it was because of the Santa Barbara mess up. Yeah, and that messed me up. So I swapped my frequencies there, and then I got rid of my prepared preset St. Louis tower frequency. Yeah, and you can see what happened. It was nice to look it back on the video on the stream as well. So I was at Helda, I believe. And then he said switch to tower, and I said swap. very proudly, and then I thought, 124.15? I don't think that's right. While you are doing your step downs, while you need to stay on track, and I need to look at my charts and stuff, and that's where I also got rid of, or got away from my track there. I did handle it. I recovered nicely, I think, also at a high speed. I think that was a good job. So practically in flight skill terms, I think I did okay. That's not an area that I need to improve on, I guess, but it's all mentally. I was hasty, I was behind, I was handicapped in that way. I handicapped myself in a way. I didn't double check. That was the biggest mistake, I think. And the second one, like Kimo said or mentioned, yeah, I did look at the MDA. We briefed it also. Well, at least the category, and I mentioned my surprise, like, hey, is there only LNAV, minimum decision height? We are talking about RNAV. Is that automatically not? Does it not automatically include vertical guidance as well? I would expect LPV here, but we only talked about that. What I didn't include in my briefing was the actual altitude. I didn't say 1,040 feet. Never did I say that as a category alpha small GA airplane, which is very, very important, because at that altitude, MSL, once we are down here, or down here actually, indeed, like Kimo said, if we don't spot the runway before that, or the runway lights, or any kind of other light of the airfield, we should abort and continue with our missed approach, and start with our missed approach, and that's not good. Also, the altimeter was the third tiny thing. The altimeter setting is so important when you're flying a instrument approach, because obviously you're not that precise on the glide slope, and if your altimeter setting is off as well, sometimes you don't have that much clearance from obstacles, especially at that later chunk there from the final approach fix. So as soon as ATC clears you, I mean, that's the idea. If you fly on IFR en route, you are using the altimeter setting that ATC provides you with every handoff, right? They say, well, this is the altimeter setting. You set it, so every plane in that sector uses the same altimeter setting, so we all fly on the same. We're on the same page, right? And so from controller to controller, you reset your altimeter setting. You never use the local altimeter setting, because that's too local, right? You need that whole area. But as soon as you transition to your approach and you're preparing to make a landing at an airport, then you should use the local altimeter setting, obviously. So when can you set it? Well, as soon as you're cleared, if you hear the words cleared for the approach, that's the time when you need to reset your altimeter. And these should be part of my checks as well. I should also use the checklist while flying, but that's an important, that's a really important aspect, I think. Raider, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, so those are the three things. Yeah, very curious to rewatch the video. Okay, so that was in terms of intellectual thinking that I should improve on. Let's disconnect from PilotEdge and look at the landing and the flight path and stuff. So here we go. Let's pick this, for example. Let's get out. Let's do our track. Yeah. Yeah, so there is Santa Maria. I took off, went to the coast there, and took some time. I don't know why I did take that much time, to be honest, but I did. And then I went to Fayback, and then we went in, and here we started our descent, right? Yes. Yes, we did. Well, not really that much, I guess. Well, yeah, here we made our descent to 2900, which is a small descent, and then here you can see the trouble. Here is when I noticed my that my standby frequency was not properly set. No, on a non-precision approach you may level off at MDA. Yes, finish. That's true, but I don't know why you say no. I mean, that confirms my ideas as well. I don't know if I misspoke, but let me know. Stefan, GNT 650. I mean, yeah, Stefan, that's awesome as well. That's awesome as well. Again, here you can see I messed around. This is when I noticed when I was still on that glide. down, and I didn't have my tower frequency. I need to look up the chart while doing the step downs. This is where I messed up. But even though, just practically, if you just look at my track, it's not that off. I could do much better, but it's not that dramatic, I think. Still though, once I saw Lnaf plus V, which is nice, so that's what Ryan was saying as well, I just had a regular ILS experience, practically saying, or flying. And I think, I'm not quite clear if I'm allowed to fly the Lnaf plus V mode like I did, even though we are using the MDA or the non-precision LNAV altitudes. I mean, you can use those as reference, but I was not using those as reference. I was just flying the glide slope. Finish because you said go around if not city. Ah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So what Finish is saying, yeah, that's not correct. Thanks. Yeah, so as soon as I hit the MDA, you can see here on the approach, this is where I hit the MDA, according to the profile view here, right? So the 1,040 feet. And then I still have some time to fly on that until I fly over the runway 29, and then I go off. This is actually a nice point. I studied something about this. Because the question then becomes, in case we had no visibility, we were in complete IMC, how would we know? Yeah, we got the GPS. That's why. How would we know when we reach the runway if we cannot see the runway? But we have the GPS, obviously. So we know once we fly over it on a GPS and we haven't seen it, then we go, we execute the missed approach, I guess. But what Finish is saying, we could just stick on the MDA before we reach the missed approach point. That's the proper procedure. Okay, good, thanks. Done. I don't really care. Yes, so where's our airplane? Coming into San Luis. Yeah, so the flying of the actual glide slope was pretty well, I think. From the tower, and there we came in. Such a nice airfield. Really cool. Are we crabbed? No, not that much. Yeah, a tiny bit, so that made the landing quite easy. So I'm correcting for it, you can see already. Main wheels first, touchdown. Oh, that was nice. One more time in slow-mo, because it's so pretty. Okay. I love the way how you can so flexibly review your flight. I mean, with prepared, it was something I would always avoid doing because it didn't make sense at all, the interfacing and stuff. But here, our next one goes a bit too, yeah. So again, I'm still a bit crabbed. That's the only thing you could say. So it's not a 10 out of 10, unfortunately. But waited for it, put the nose down. No need for the crosswind correction. That's also a highlight, I think, for today. It's not a big thing that I remember to do the crosswind corrections here in taxi. That's important, I think. One can do a straight in. Okay. Yes. So, anything else? Any other remarks? No. I think I just did great. Except for that swap. That took me off guard there. The swap frequency, the tower that was not set. You should be completely prepared there. So again, a checklist would have worked. I could have prepared for that. Alright, logbook. 264 hours, 428 landings in the day. Distance 10,000 nautical miles. Interesting. Yeah, you can see on the curve on top there the turquoise greenish color there that there was a peak there. I think it was my VFR cat ratings, and then I dipped down again. That's 30 days. Yeah, not consistent flying, this is called. Anyways, logbook. There we go. Flight date today, not Palm Springs, but KSX. Destination was KSPP. Duration was 30 minutes, and again that also makes my total hours not that precise, but I think it's good enough. One landing. My distance though, I am interested in maps, flight plan, 22 nautical miles, but it was a bit more, so let's make it 30. I was going solo. I don't count this as instrument just yet. Let's say it's cross-country, even though that's not true either. My first RNAV approach. Such a pleasant way of flying. And I'm really looking forward to learn more how to actually fully utilize the GNS. It's really, really nice. Such a pleasant way of flying, very good. And let's give it a signature, and there we go. Nice. Were you visual about the NBA? Yeah, totally. Oh, that was the other guy. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Yes, so that's my logbook filled in, and we are ready to go. So guys, thank you for joining in. Kimo, thank you for that subscription again. Man, 11 months. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks. RS Pila, thank you for the follow again. Although, really glad to see you here on the stream. Super Kaliuk, thank you for the follow. And the Raider, thank you for the follow as well. Appreciate those follows, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And again, every Wednesday from now on at 17:30 Zulu time, I will train for IFR. And next up is the most exciting flight that I've been looking for this entire season. My first complete end-to-end IFR flight, where I will receive my first IFR clearance from Palm Springs to some other airport. I still need to pick my destination airport, so if you have suggestions, let me know on Twitter, Discord, wherever. Let's make it a nice one, the first. And then we're getting close to start with the actual I ratings, the check rides, the IFR check rides by PilotEdge. And once I complete those, man, I'm gonna celebrate. Then I'm really, really close to an actual instrument rating. I mean, it's not entirely, obviously, but it comes really, really close. So I'm really fascinated by that. There's a chance that I will fly in this weekend as well, IFR. But I still have to do some work, so if I work hard enough, I might buy myself some free time to fly, and we can already start doing that first IFR end-to-end flight. It's going to be interesting. Finish, thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and tips. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Kimo, again, thanks. See you soon, buddy. Thanks again for that subscription. Really appreciate it. Stefan and all the others. Crash Standard was here as well in the house. Haley, thank you for being here. So nice to see you guys. Dolari, obviously. Appreciate it. It really makes the flying so much more comfortable and enjoying, and also educational. Guys, as always, happy flights, blue skies. Hoping to see you again very, very soon. Next Monday, another VFR challenge. If you have a PilotEdge account, join me to complete that challenge as well. We're going to gather more people here online to fly together and to keep that VFR flying going as well, because that's fun too. Flying together is fun. Guys, as always, bye. Palm Springs Tower, Skyline Hotel Tango, Mike is 10 miles north of the airport at 3000, with information X-ray and for a full stop, landing 13 left if that's available.
Pablo Delta Tango, Indy Link, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Pablo Delta Tango, Indy Link, altimeters 2985, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Presently landing, runway 31, you're requesting straight in for 13.
That's available, isn't it?
Correction, Papa Delta Tango India Mike, next straight in, runway 13 left, and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Delta Tango India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 is type PC12 slant call request clearance to Vegas S file.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S file, and I'll be full route standby. Plus 4658 is cleared to Las Vegas Airport. VFI Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs. Victor 370 to 29 Palms. Victor 538. Cresso